All right, now we're here for the sixth session of the Generative Being Lab with focus on the relational terrain. But I want to return us to the kind of the fundamentals of the Generative Being Lab so that we can get access, reestablish our access to identity, narrative, and possibility as a location of self, so that self and the other, so the other is with whom we are in relation with, can be more fully established. And then we can talk about the space between us, the relational terrain, from that vantage point. So I just want to get back to this business about who you are as a as an individuated, instantiated biology, that the universe came into existence, biology, life occurred, biology evolved on the planet, biology self-organized into what we now know as species, and you are now an individual in the apex species on this planet, which is the highest level of cognitive functioning on the planet right now, and that you are the node of the planet that actually is transducing all of the energy and information from the sun, the moon, the stars, the planet, the foods you eat, the the frequencies that you can see and not see, hear and not hear, experience and not experience, but yet they are still there having an impact on you. Your body is an energy and information transduction vehicle, an engine that takes all of that energy and information, transforms it into biology, and you, the individuated one, transforms that into meaning through language. And language is the access point to all possibilities and all experiences for a human being. In the same way that color is the context for all colors. Color is not a color. It's not red, it's not blue, it's not green. Color is the context for all possible colors. So too is the human being. The possibility, the context for all possible experiences of being human. So let me say that again. Just like number is the container and the context for all possible number configurations, human being is the context for all possible human experiences. And if you are an individuated human being, that's what you are, then you are the context for all possible human experiences to flow through the energy of your life, to flow through from the elements, from the universe, from the sun, moon, stars, food, drink, air, interactions, whatever you name it, all that stuff, you are transducing it into meaning through language. You are now grokking yourself and grokking the universe. Gaia becomes self aware in you and me, and we become the context for all possible experiences for human being. Which is to say that if one person can do it, then it is possible that everyone in the species can, or at least that trait can be transferred into the species going forward. And that's how the self organizing process happens. And we call that evolution. So, what am I saying here? When you grok what you are, that you are the context for all of that and for all that can be, and that you can name yourself, like identify yourself, locate yourself in the center of all of that by simply standing for yourself. I am that I am, the stand that I take. And when you take that stand, you carve out a place for yourself to stand in the all that is all, because you are now the riverbed, and everything that's possible for a human being is the river flowing through what you call your life, your narrative, your story about what has happened to you, your magnificent, heroic journey, however it has gone, good, bad, indifferent, champion, defeated, life, somehow death, whatever, rebirth. All of that is going on inside of the context of who you are. And until you take a stand on who you are, then you are only that which is given by your environment, by what you've been told, by what you've inherited, by what you've been educated to believe, by how you've been damaged, by how you've been bent, twisted, turned, traumatized, and learned from that. And then that's all you got until you take full ownership of all of that and take a stand. Say, I am the stand that I take. And I am the very possibility of every human being I come into contact discovering their vision and gaining the courage to live true to that vision and manifest this promise. That's who I am, that I am. Who are you? Come to the class session ready to say yourself, I am that I am, the stand that I take, and this is who I declare myself to be. And you want to hold that as center, not move from that, because there's going to be stuff coming at you from the foreground, from the background, from side to side, pushing you around and around to push you off center. But you got to hold your ground on your stand about who you say you are in the matter. When you do so, then the universe self-organizes around you. When you don't do that, the universe organizes you into what it needs in the moment, whether it's valuable to you or not. So take the stand. Come ready to say yourself, I am that I am, the stand that I take, and make the stand. Because that's who there is to be related to. To be related to what? The story about who you are. The story about what? The story about your lived experience. What are you feeling in the body? What are you hearing with your ears, seeing with your eyes, transducing with your hands? What are you feeling with your heart? What's your gut going on inside of you? That's what's actually happening in relationship to who you are in the matter of that happening, right? And when you transduce all of that into story, that story held in your stand shapes what shows up in the moment of your life. The story is the showing up. The narrative that you are is the ground that you walk. That which you say yourself to be is the organizing principle around which everything in your life revolves around, orbits around. And if you have no center and you wonder why everything's going haywire, well, I'll tell you, turn on the damn gravity. That's called call yourself into being and become the stand that you are and become the planet, the star, the supernova that commands galaxies to orbit around your interests, your goals, your visions, your hopes, your destinal resolve, your relationships. And how do you get power in that? That's that circadian life. That's that up in the morning, early, first light, movement, first light, blue light. Get your clock set, get your body rhythm set, get a rhythmic life going. Then fuel it with good balanced nutrition, with the emphasis on proteins and fats and polyphenols and cruciferous vegetables, and staying away from the sugars and sweets and the starches and that whole thing. Ketogenic on the Mediterranean style. Okay, go for it, and get your midday movement in sunlight. And then at night, get your lights to turn down low and keep them low. The ultimate lighting for evening is fire. The closest thing you can get to candles and light. Anything more than that, and you're giving yourself more than your body needs in terms of noise. And the more you give it fire and light in the evening, you're giving it signal, which allows you to align fully with the cosmos. That's the circadian lock. Every clock in your body is now locked in with the earth from which you came. That is the dynamic in which you flow. You breathe the earth, you drink the earth, you stand on her, you ingest her, you expel her. There is nothing about you that is not her. In fact, you are her. Right, there you go. And if you are her, well, then you came from the stars, right? And if you came from the stars, then you came from the origin of the universe. Now believe that. That 4.5 billion years that this earth been alive was the ground state of your being. Okay, that's the laboratory that the universe has used to create life in the form that we are here and now and heretofore. So, where am I going with this? Here and now, heretofore is in relationship to the other. The same things that have you be vital and alive are needed and wanted in the other, and the opportunity is to address the other with provision for that, with space for that, with inclusion for all of that, which is I am that we are. So that what benefits you is the thing that gives me life. And then when I approach you in that way, and it's reciprocated in a cultural dialogue with each other, a dialectic with each other, well, then my need gets met in the summation of the we-ness that we are. And that's the relational terrain. Anything short of that is fragmentation, structural, process, noise, or otherwise. Let me say this very, very clearly. The things that allow you, to fully thrive in the world is your accountability, your responsibility to bring into the world for the other in a dialectic relationship that is mutual in regard, that allows for the provision of the give and the take with dignity and joy, and where the differentials are meted out across the numbers of us, which is not just you and I, but you and I as a cluster, a group, you and I as a team, as a neighborhood, as a family, as a community, in clusters of 150 or so, or so, where your primary relationship field is probably around 3 to 5 people or so. And for those folk, they may as well be you, because as they go, so goes you, no matter what. And their trajectory is yours. Your trajectory is theirs. So choose your fellow travelers wisely and cultivate your fellow travelers together. Grow together, learn together, reshape together, transform together. Get on the higher vector move and allow yourself to be fully present to all of the challenges that come along that way, and help each other through it. That's why we get married. That's why we have families. That's why we have friends. This is the team. This is the posse. Quit pushing the posse away and start put some glue in between you. With the glue is I am that we are. When you thrive, that is the basis for my thriving, and therefore I gift that which I have most precious to me to you. That's aloha. That's Ubuntu. That's humanity. That's philanthropy. Everything short of that is relational terrain fragmentation. So, right? So how does that go? So you don't have to tell a mother and the baby about connectivity. That's real. That connection is there. The postpartum depression is really about the break in that belonging. Are you kidding me? That's that. There's a lot going on there. We'll go for this another time. So then the body gets attuned and learns how to relate. When you're a baby, you got no language. All you got is terrain diagnostic, terrain reading, terrain responsiveness. And when you are an adult and you can get out from between all of the stories and hurt and pain and all the narratives and get back to your baseline cognition and get into your interiors, the who you are inside, can then overlap with the who I am inside. And that's the relationship. That's when you say, I love you, I care about you, I like you. That's because that which my interiors are now overlapping with your interiors in a coupled way. This is cognitive coupling. This is relational terrain texture. It can happen amongst humans, happens amongst pets. You know you love your pets. You're American. You can't do freaking without them. And guess what? They have a role. These are tuning devices. These are living beings with their own trajectories in the evolutionary process, and they are co-evolutionary creators with us. Address them as such, and then magic will occur for you. The kind of magic fundamentally rooted in relationship. And there's no one who owns a pet who doesn't know exactly what I'm talking about. And that's relational terrain at that level. And some people have that more texture, more depth, more yumminess in that than they do in the human connection. Go figure. People have that better than they got with folks in the commons. Go figure. They will walk up to your pet and love up on the pet before they give you bat an eye at you. Go figure. That's the relational terrain I'm talking about. Anything that's not a full embrace is fragmentation of the coherence. It is a breakdown of the relationship that cascades down into the body. You feel bad when a relationship breaks because it cascades to the body bad. When it happens in the civic terrain where the relationships in the common are fractured, it lands in the body in a certain way, and that certain way could be a good thing or a bad thing. Just ask the people of Minnesota how ice landed in their physiology last winter, if you know what I'm talking about. Okay, that shapes stuff, and you feel it even today because you can't walk around here not knowing that these folks are raiding every kind of way around you. You don't know who, what, why. Everybody got a gun with a stand your ground notice. If you think that is not shaping your interiors, then you're not paying attention. So, but because you are GBL participants, you are HON, human operator nodes, really polishing yourself. You follow, you catch my drift, you understand the fade here. Okay, great. So relational terrain, in loving relationships and coupled relationships can go deep. When the interiors and the physicalities go deep, we call that coupled. That's marriage level stuff. That is the Kundalini stuff. That is the tantric yogic stuff. And you want to ask me about all of that? No kidding. Because that is how we use the relational terrain to transcend the entirety of the whole thing as an individuated one. So all that to say that you and I are ready to engage the work of the relational terrain in the workshop coming up this afternoon. So I'm going to stop here. So there's much to say tonight. I hope this thing recorded. Let's see if it captured.